Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas. So, chances are today is the last episode of this series, probably the last episode of Alien. So yes, we're now on episode 19 of this series of Alien, and it's looking very much like this is the end for the crew of the Red Dwarf, ex-Red Dwarf, because the Red Dwarf no longer exists, as it blew up. We have surviving. The only surviving crew member is Kat, who is outside on the hull of the Kronos at this point in time. We have Parks, who is at this present moment. He was one of the dog catchers who were sort of secreted aboard the Red Dwarf. He is the only survivor from those. He's at the moment got his bleeding leg, a severed leg, and he's bleeding to death, needs to be stabilised. Crichton and Ava 6 went head to head in the last episode and basically killed each other in the air scrubbers. They can be reactivated as they are both synthetics. Rimmer is outside with Kat but dead, and Lister is with Parks but dead. This is what's happening in Chariot of the Gods. We haven't even rolled into Act 3. We could probably say we're in Act 3 now, as it's the final part. So we'll call this Act 3. There is that ship that was loitering around the outside. I think we need to probably make a decision whether that ship will stay or that ship will take this opportunity to go. Now, they will have been trying to get in touch with Crichton, as Crichton is, we decided, is the plant who is inside the Kronos trying to get information for Bionational Corporation. And they will be trying to contact Crichton. Now, I've just remembered I forgot to say thank you to the subscribers. Thank you so much if you're a subscriber. So if you've hit the little thing and subscribed and the little thing's done the thing and you've done the bell, thank you so much. I very much appreciate all your watches, and I appreciate your comments, and appreciate you watching me tell stories. If you haven't as of yet subscribed, but you have been watching me, can I ask, do you mind subscribing? Just hit the subscription and you can then know when new things come out and things can be pushed to you. I'll remind you again later on, just in case you've watched all the way through. There's other ways you can support by joining the Adventurers Guild. Thank you so much to the Adventurers Guild. I very much appreciate all of your support, and I appreciate everyone's support and comments. But anyway, back to the fate of Kat. Really, I think everything now on this story rests on the shoulders of our androgynous, attractive corporate agent called Kat, who is outside in a suit with only 3 oxygen left inside it, with the electronics kit. Now, I was trying to think what Kat would do. Now, probably it's all based on what that ship's going to do. If the ship is trying to communicate with Crichton, Crichton hasn't been able to reply. So they're not getting a reply. Are they going to attempt to come on board, which they might do, or are they going to attempt to go? Now, as part of the adventure, this ship is actually mentioned. We repurposed a ship from earlier in this series, but it is actually mentioned. But it does say about the ship somewhere, and I can't find it now. But anyway, it basically says you don't have to use the ship. You can use it, which is the Stiletto or something like that, but you don't have to use that ship. Now, we have brought that in because it worked by the things we rolled and various other stuff, but we don't have to leave that as the last thing for Kat to keep him alive. We can basically take that away from Kat, so Kat can use what's on board, which I have been thinking about how Kat could get out. Kat does have Comtech. There is a way Kat can survive this. Now, first off, it's Act 3, so we'll roll 3 of these. If we come up with a neomorph, something weird happens. Now, at this point, that's something weird. There's 2 of them. That's something weird is that ship that is basically here. So if Crichton had survived, Crichton could have messaged the ship, sent the ship a signal, and the ship would have come round and docked, and Crichton would have gone. My intention was, if Crichton survived, Crichton would probably lead that neomorph to kill Kat, would not bother about Parks. Parks would die. Crichton would collect stuff, samples, and then last scene we would see Crichton leaving through another docking port on that ship. Crichton died. Thus, that ship, Cat is going to be staring out. Maybe Cat will wave. Maybe Cat's going to try and send a signal. Cat is going to use Comtech. Cat has got a 4 and a 5 and a 4 and is at the moment on 3 stress. Cat is going to attempt to send a signal to that ship. Gets 1 hit. On all of that, gets 1 hit. So Cat knows that a signal's gone through, it has hit the ship, and he's hearing a voice come back, and the voice says, "Sorry, pal, nothing we can do. Good luck." And the ship slowly tilts out of the way and heads away, whilst Cat's screaming down the comm towards the ship, and then off in the distance, there's a blink of light, and the ship has gone off into FTL. That ship has gone. Cat is going to make a panic roll because Cat is now on their own. So Cat has 3 stress at the moment. So we've got 3 and 3, 6. Cat is feeling panicked but holding it together. We will give Cat an oxygen roll. So with 3 oxygen left, if a neomorph comes up, it drops by 1. Okay, Cat has 2 oxygen left. As Cat is starting to hyperventilate. Now, this is where Cat can make some decisions. There are some things Cat can do. Cat can try and go on board the Kronos, which means that Cat can get the oxygen refilled, and Cat can try and fix up the ship as best as Cat can. Cat doesn't have heavy machinery, so the best Cat can do is get into one of those cryopods, set an emergency beacon, and hope for the best. Hope someone will come and rescue Cat at some point. But that Cat knows that there is some dodgy things crawling around on board the Kronos, and that means Cat has to get there to get there. The other decision Cat can make is that Cat does know, based on the maps, that there is an emergency escape vehicle here behind this corporate suite, in the corporate suite. Now the problem is that Lister shot a hole in the wall of the corporate suite, so the internal door is shut. Now, Cat is on the outside of the ship, so theoretically and potentially, Cat can make a manoeuvre roll to climb around and over the whole of the hull of the ship, and then make a manoeuvre roll to come in here, and then make a manoeuvre roll and a successful comtech roll and a shift's worth of work to get that door open. Or, because what we do know is that the key card on here, so he's going to have to do that and then either get the key card which is needed by here, which is being held by Clayton. Clayton died in this corridor here as a neomorph came through and slashed Clayton's stomach. No one cleaned up the body's there. Cat could come back into the Kronos, up the stairwell, across here, and try and rummage through the body and find the key card. Those are the options that Cat has. Now, the Cat doesn't know this is locked, so the first thing Cat has to do is get here. But that is going to take oxygen, and Cat is short on oxygen. So, how clever is Cat? Cat has a wits of 5, which is high. Cat is one of the most intelligent people on board the crew. So Cat is going to have 5. Now, can Cat work out a way to get oxygen? No. So Cat can't. Cat's a bit overwhelmed at the moment. So instead, what Cat is going to just do at this point is Cat's going to make a manoeuvre roll to attempt to. So Cat has. Will Cat come up with this plan? The EEV plan. Yes. Okay. So Cat has come up with a plan. Cat goes, all right. Okay. I've got to get out of here. I need to get out of here. How am I going to get out of here? I need an escape vehicle. Or according to the charts, there. So maybe you'll pull up on the tablet or something, and then see that there's the maps. There's the EEV on that side. I can't go through the door. Cat will work out because Cat made a roll. So going around the outside, which will mean a manoeuvre roll to climb over and get to that side. And with a manoeuvre roll is an oxygen consumption roll. So first off, we need to try and get over there without slipping or any bad stuff happening, which is here. So Cat has to try and go around. Okay, 2 hits. 2 hits is awesome, which means that Cat will get there and get there in good time, and we'll give 1 oxygen roll for one oxygen roll, which means that Cat has got to the entrance, and we'll give a +1 of rolling over because it got 2 hits. Okay, we're fine. So no oxygen was no additional oxygen was consumed. So Cat has got over the top and has actually got around this torn up, slashed up hole, which is blown out. Now, an act roll to see if Flynn, the abomination, is still floating around or holding on to the outside. No. Okay, so maybe Cat can see just floating off the outside of the ship is Flynn, and maybe is Flynn still alive? A neomorph means that Flynn's still alive. Flynn is still alive. So the abomination that is Flynn, with elongating nose, is becoming. It's now progressed to the full-blown abomination, which is called a Reverend, I think. Oh no, Reverend is what it was. It's now a beluga head. So it's a full-blown beluga head abomination. While not as powerful and intelligent as the Xenomorph XX121, the beluga head is a force to be reckoned with, and it will attempt to maneuver, swim, get itself over to Cat, which isn't really going to be very difficult, but might make Cat have a bit of a panic. No, Cat is holding together with a 3 and a 2, which is 5, which means Cat's holding everything together, keeping themselves in check. And he's now at this torn entranceway into the corporate suite area. All the air has left this now, and so there's no more air evacuating out, which is going to cause Cat problems. But Cat does not want to fail this maneuverability roll, because that will mean the suit might potentially take damage, which means we'll make an armor roll. So Cat has 3 for agility, 1 for mobility, +1 because of that roll being carried over, coming over, but he's suffering 3 stress at this point in time. Cat needs 1 hit to get through this without taking damage to the suit. Cat has 3 hits. Cat's rolling fantastically. 3 hits, so we will again allow a carryover, which is part of the rules, because you get 1 for a success and then you can do a trick or something good. So Cat smoothly and quickly maneuvers through with cat-like stealth through in, and we'll have 1 to carry over. But we do have, well, maybe we'll use one of those dice, means that we'll only roll 1 oxygen, so that potentially he can't lose all oxygen. No, it's fine. And 1 carryover because he got 3 hits. So Cat is now in the corporate suite and can have a look at the now decimated corporate suite. There's stuff floating around in the 0G. Little packets of stimulants and drugs are floating around that Cat will recognise. The picture on the wall has been torn off, which would expose a wall safe. There's some alcohol floating around, which is the wet bar that Parks really paid attention to. But Cat is going to just zone in on the walk-in closet and open the door to the closet, which will then expose the fact that there's an EEV behind that door. The control panel on the side of the door, which goes through into the escape valve, is blinking a green light to show that it is fully functional. And Cat is going to hit the open button, at which point it will say, please enter access code from Laurie Clayton. And then it will say Laurie Clayton's corporate liaison ID. So this is where Cat is going to now know and have to make the decision point. Does Cat come back out and try? So Cat's not going to be able to open up the door out into this corporate suite. There's no way the mother was going to allow the outside space to basically to decompression the whole of the ship. So the only way out, potentially, there's no air vent. There's an air vent in the EEV, but Cat could potentially get into, so the vent may not have closed. No, it must have closed. So then it's getting through, back around and back into the airlock to be able to get across to get Clayton's, or attempt to crack open this wall safe. Now, using what's in the the module, Chariot of the Gods, there's nothing that says how you could crack the walk-in closet, but the safe, the wall safe, that also is accessible by Clayton's codes, says it's a shift of work and a -3 Comtech roll. So Cat could attempt to basically use the tools that Cat has and crack the security on the EEV. Let's roll this, because he's standing there. No, okay, still nothing weird, which could be Flynn coming in. It could be one of the neomorphs climbing around on the outside. There might be another neomorph climbing around on the outside. If we rolled multitudes of these, then bad stuff might happen to Cat. Cat has no weapons at all. Cat is not armed. All right, so Cat is at the door of the EEV. I reckon the first thing Cat will try and do is try and crack it, because he's got 5 for wits. He has 4 for Comtech. He's got an electronics kit which will give +2, and it's a -3. So -3 would be, so he's got a +2, so that would be that. That would be the 5 and the 3. Oh yeah, of course, +2 for the kit, -2, -3 rather. Yes, -3. So he has that and 3 stress. That is the type of roll that he would need to do to crack it, and it would take a shift, and a shift is 5 to 10 hours. Now, during that time, we could have something happen. Now, first off, he could start running out of oxygen for starters. First off, he needs to try and crack it. He actually gets 1 hit. 1 hit is enough, and I didn't even give the +1 for okay. So after a shift, he can crack this. So he's pretty confident that he can crack this and get this going, which means Cat survived basically, unless something bad happens. But during that time, we've got oxygen check. It drops down to 1. So his oxygen warning light starts firing red. Now we get to see if Flynn comes in. No. Oh, okay. This might be a bit of an anticlimax. Short last session of Alien. So the EEV door is cracked. It takes 5 or 6 hours of Cat sweating. Let's do another roll. Yes. Okay. So at the end, he now has 0 oxygen. So we are going to do some rolls for seeing if Cat can. So this would be a mixture of stamina and mobility rolls for Cat to try and get. So as he finishes cracking and the door opens, his oxygen starts to hit low. It doesn't mean he's instantly going to asphyxiate. It means he now has to start taking stamina checks, or he has to then take health damage. Now, let's say, so what would he need to do? He needs to get into the room. Now there's no atmosphere, well maybe, no there wouldn't be. He needs to then get into the cryopod and then connect himself up. And then we've got a third one, which is closing the cryopod and firing the system. Because I reckon so an EEV system would still need to be activated on no atmosphere, because potentially the hull could be breached. And that's the reason why you get in the escape vehicle. To need to take the suit off and get in seems to not make much sense. There is a cryo system in here. It says here that there are 3 cryopods in it, but it is not faster than light capable. So he needs to make 3 tracks. So first off, the oxygen is going. Because his oxygen is going, let's give him a panic roll. 6, which goes to a 9. So he drops. So whether by stress confusion, you drop your weapon or important item, but your stress level, and your stress level increases by 1. So he starts to get stressed because the oxygen has gone down. He drops the electronics kit, so that's not going to be any help anymore. He now has 4 stress dice. He now has to get in, which we'll say is a mobility roll with 4 stress dice. He needs to try and get into the EEV area and to where the escape pod, the pods are, to get into one. And he gets a hit. Okay, so he successfully clears the way in. Yes. And as he gets in, he can hear some noise, and sort of as he goes in, he leans through and you can see these disgusting elongated arms of an abomination stretching in and pulling the body past the bulk as the parts of the torn metal tear against the flesh and the suit of this abomination, and this strange black icon drifts off into the 0G and surrounds as the eyes of the abomination that was Flynn locks with Cat's, and Cat then does that roll and ducks into the cryopod area for success. Next thing is he needs to, let's say now he needs to set the system going so we can make this an easy Comtech roll, but the oxygen is running out, so let's make him do a stamina roll as what his next thing, which he does have stamina, surprisingly enough. He's got 2 for strength, 1 for stamina, and he's 4 stress dice. Potentially panicking and failing, so he's going to take 1 hit point of damage. He's only got 2 hit points, but we'll count that as the second stage. Does he panic? 4, 8, begins to tremble, -2 modification, so agility suffers -2, so -2 agility as he's beginning to tremble, as he's trying to then go. So what would this be? This is, that was a stamina check to get in. He's taken 1 hit point. Now he's getting into the pod, and getting into the pod, let's do a roll. Yep, so Flynn is at the door of the EEV area as Cat is popping open the pod and attempting to set the system up to allow him to go. I am going to be kind and let Cat do this as a Comtech roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Cat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cat needs to get a success on this to, let's give him a chance. I could give him a chance to reduce his stress by 1, which is the only time he could do this, and that's by you can do this by basically studying your thing. For him, it's his corporate authorization, which we can say that is hanging around his neck. He's his corporate chip and his ID card. He can feel it. They can feel it knocking against their chest, which alleviates some of the stresses that they're thinking, I know what I'm doing, I can get this going. He needs, they need at least 1 hit to trigger this. Wow, 3 hits. Okay, 3 hits. So 3 hits means that Cat begins to get into the pod. We will allow 1 is a success to trigger the system to roll. 1 is going to give a +1 to the next thing, and 1 will be will allow a plus another. We're going to do +1 to a stamina roll, which is trying to get in and not. So we'll give him 2, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, and then 1 because Flynn may come in, and then it's dodging Flynn. Successful stamina roll, so doesn't take an additional point of damage. Sets the system running. Does Flynn come in after Cat, pushing his way through? Nope, Flynn just stands there sort of looking bemused as Cat is going to attempt to get in, and this is where we'll do the last Flynn check. Nope. All right, well, let's make him do a, let's just make him do, so +2, so we'll cancel out the -2 for trembling. So we'll give that, and this is Cat getting into the pod. If he fails it, or potentially, so that's a success. Based on his panic roll, he could fail or he could get in. 6 + 3 is 9, which is dropping an item, which he's not really got anything to drop, but it still means it succeeds, which goes through. We'll give Flynn 1 chance to push his way through and do an attack on him, and then Cat is in the escape pod, and we'll say that Cat ejects from the escape pod, and we'll have our closing scene, which would be Cat staring blankly. Oh yeah, I know. If this depends on what this is, a 5, an arm pull. So Flynn is going to attempt to grab Cat. Cat can have a dodge. Flynn gets 1 hit. Cat should be able to dodge that. 1, 2, 1. We'll give +1 for that last thing. +3. Yeah. Dodges, even with a 6, that totals a 9, which means it still succeeds. So Flynn climbs through as Cat's going in and the pod comes down. We can imagine that the abomination is leaning over the cryopod as the cryopod, the lid of the cryopod begins to close as Cat is plugging himself into stuff. A hand reaches out and grabs onto Cat, starts to pull Cat's arm and Cat out of the cryopod as Cat is resisting, and that roll, Cat begins to panic and tremble, dropping at a component part of the cryopod out. Cat pulls with all of his strength back against the abomination as the lid clamps down and begins to judder as Cat sort of pushes and twists. We'll do another roll against them both. So what will he do? 4 is a pounce. Well, pounce is a base of an 8 dice, but let's use the 6 dice, which is the arm pull again, and see if the Flynn, the abomination, can do anything. 2 hits against Cat. He's trying to pull back against it. We'll give him his +1 again. 1, 2, 3 because of the thing. Come on. Okay, 1, he's going to push that because he can. 2, excellent. But his stress has gone back up by 1. So that 2 fights against the 2. The arm is pulled back in as the lid then does a burst of the hydraulics, pull down, and the lid slams shut, severing the abomination's arm, which leaves the arm clinging onto Cat's arm in the cryo as the emergency evacuation process kicks out, and there's a jolt on the ship and there's a jolt from Cat as the pod is ejected from the ship. The what is it? He said it's a cryo system. So the cryo system will kick in. Cat will begin to feel the cold of his body as the cryo system begins to take over and the edges of his vision begin to close and it begins to go cold as Cat stares out at the stars as the evacuation system is ejecting him. So it would be in the ship. So Flynn is basically in the ship. As the door would have closed, he's in the cryopod, so he's sealed into the cryopod. The abomination is in the ship with its hand severed, which means that it's in the EEV and it would go into hibernation. And so the last thing that Cat would see is the abomination's face as it would lean across him, and then their face would go off, and then Cat would drift into the deep sleep of cryo sleep. Credits roll. That was short, but I think that then ends the story of the cast of the crew of Red Dwarf. Possibly we can see what happens in another series as the EEV is found, and we will then explore a bit more of the alien universe. I can say I quite like that. I quite like that. That was quite cool. When the edition 2 is released, there will be some more formalised solo rules that we can attempt to use. But at this stage, I think that's the end of the story. Thank you very much for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. I only said that about 20 minutes ago. But anyway, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much to the Adventures Guild for those people who have joined the membership. Hopefully you enjoyed that series of Alien, and you can join me next week where I'm going to attempt to do a short run of the Electric State, another 3-league game. You have an awesome week of solo gaming. I'll see you later. Bye.